So I mentioned in my last video that I was going to have kind of an unconventional test for the MidNite PowerFlo 5K battery. And I have somebody that needs something moved. So we're going to see if it actually works. I mean, it should work, but with this kind of stuff, you never really know. So we're going to find out if the MidNite PowerFlo 5 can move a golf cart. So I loaded up the MidNite PowerFlo 5 into the back of the truck. I brought some 2-aught cables to hook right into the batteries. And so we're going to find out if I actually brought all my supplies needed to be able to do this or not. Yep. All right, grab that stuff. Probably have to redneck this thing onto the back of the golf cart. So this is a Club Cart Precedent. It's our pastor's golf cart, and he's been fighting with lead acid batteries for years. And he's replaced them 2 or 3 times, and it just gets to be really a maintenance nightmare. And so he's actually asked me to look into doing a lithium conversion on this, which I'm actually researching where I can get some good quality lithium batteries that I can put in here for him. But from what I've seen, this is a 48 volt system. So there are 6 8-volt batteries. So we've got our main positive over here and our main negative over here. So we'll check the voltage on these batteries, but I'm pretty sure all this is dead. They've tried to recharge it over and over and over again, and it just, the maintenance on these lead acid batteries just make it not worth it. So we're going to look at wiring up this battery, see if we can get this thing to move. All right, so if we check our current pack voltage, yeah, 19.04. These things are shot. Just pop these off here. Like I said, I brought some 2-aught cables, so we're going to end up going through and just wiring the 2-aught up the back to our MidNite battery. I'll put some bolts on back here. Not the prettiest looking things, but it should work. And then we can move it out of the way. We're actually driving it down to the church and storing it in the barn for the winter. So they really need this out of their garage. See, it's kind of nice having an extra set of hands for a camera person too. You always tend to plan for everything when you do this kind of stuff, and it's inevitable. You're going to forget stuff. So I had to borrow tape, pliers, and bolts from the church. So my plan is so that I can actually see what's going on with the battery. I actually brought my smart shunt. So I'm going to tie my smart shunt in, pull up the specs on my phone, and reset everything so I'll be able to see max current draw. We'll be able to see how much power gets drawn. I actually charge this thing all the way up to 100%. So we should see how much power it actually uses from a 100 amp hour battery too. So is this how this should be done? Nope. Do I recommend you doing it this way? Nope. Am I going to do it anyways? Yup. So with our main negative over here, I'm just going to run a bolt up through and pray that I have enough washers to make this snug. This is only temporary, just to get it out of the garage. All right. So, not the prettiest in the world. And no, this is not electrical tape. But gaffer's tape is still a good isolator. There, isolate that. up there. And now the positive. So this thing is actually going to let me see how much power is being drawn from the battery when I push on the pedal. So I'll have an app on my phone that I can look from Bluetooth.
So you'll know.
So I'll be able to see, is it pulling a little bit of power or a lot of power?
What it needs to have eventually.
I just have to make sure that I wire it up properly because I have to have one on the battery side and one on the system side.
It's all you, right? It's all you.
Boy, I didn't grab a lot of that stuff. I had it all ready to go, and then I second guessed myself, and I'm like, oh, I don't need that, and I don't need that. So I took it all out. Because this would have been a whole lot faster had I had mine. I'll put our positive here, and then I need shunt power. So we'll put this on here as well. All right, and then we need our battery positive. The auxiliary doesn't matter as much, but we kind of need power to this. All right, so pretty basic. We've got our negative coming down to the shunt, into the battery side, and then going to the system side, and then our negative comes around over to our main system negative, which goes into the club car brains, I guess. And then our positive, we have our smart shunt positive on the positive lug as well, and our positive cable loops all over here and comes down to the club car main system positive. So we will turn on the BMS. We've got full charge on the BMS, and we will cautiously open the breaker. Nothing exploded. And now if we look at the app on the phone, we can see we have our test wall smart shunt. So I'm going to come in here into the battery. We are at our 100 amp hour capacity. We're going to synchronize the shunt to 100%. And then we're going to come to the history tab and reset the history. So all the information that we get will be from this test. So we should be able to turn the key on. Oh wait, I think we need this thing in like run mode. So flip up to run. Turn on the key. We don't have any 12-volt lights. Hit it in reverse. We hear the reverse buzzer. And if I sit ever so gently and bump the pedal, we move backwards, but we're running over something. So let's turn this all off. We're going to get it cleaned up and get it ready to go so that we can drive it to the church. I put these covers on just so we wouldn't have any accidents. We're not going super far, half mile, 3/4 of a mile maybe, and we're not flying, so I don't imagine that this is going to go too far. It's a heavy battery anyways, so. And then over in the cup holder, we have our smart shunt. So, ooh, comfy. Turn on the key, put it in reverse. Slowly start backing up. They pack this thing in here tight. Let's go. Well, good news, it works. I don't know how fast we're going to be able to go. Driving away into the sunset. 60 amps. $33 amps, 41 amps, not bad. Maybe when I get to the church, we'll see how fast this thing can go. Get off to the side so people can go around. Hey, it's going well. Hello. You want a key? Why? All right, let me do it, Yui. I guess it helps to give my wife a key to the truck. So we're going back. So the screen recording stopped because I took a phone call. Stupid thing.
Go anywhere without the truck key.
So since we're here, 53 volts. Stuff's not moving around too bad back here. Let's try this again, shall we? Nobody's coming. Ugh. This is a pain in the butt. Having to hold this and watch for cars. 42 amps. This is actually a nice drive. The breeze feels really good. I mean, it was 83 today. So yeah, the breeze, oh, gotta love a dirt road. All right, turn left. All right, now let's see how this does. Oh, it cut out. So it did not like over 100 amps. Yep, and it died. Oh, I think it reset. Nope. I hear it beeping at me. So let's look. There's no alarm blinking. It says run. Oh, it says the voltage is 31 volts. Oh, I pushed the button again, so the smart shunt reset, I think. Yep, so I had to push the button on the BMS. That beeper's just so quiet. Man. There. Guess I don't really have to worry about the keys because nobody's going anywhere with dead batteries. So when looking at the smart shunt data, we used about 6% state of charge going, what, 3/4 of a mile maybe. Not too bad. The average current draw was somewhere between 40 and 60 amps. And my wife was actually pretty impressed because she followed behind me, as you saw, and she said that it was doing about 20 mile an hour. So not bad at all. And it worked great until I tried to floor it. So, I mean, it would work in a pinch if you needed to move your golf cart, or at least your Club Cart Precedent, to grab your 48 volt server rack battery. And that's what we did for him, for my pastor. So they'll now be able to prep for winter now that the cart's out of the garage. I forgot to mention this before, but he's in a wheelchair and he can move just enough to get from the wheelchair into the golf cart, and the golf cart actually helps him go out into the backyard so he can, you know, play around with his son out there. And he's just been frustrated with the fact that these lead acid batteries are just becoming more and more maintenance, and you never know when you finally get out to the garage to get into the cart, is the cart gonna move? And so he's asked me to look into doing a lithium conversion for him. So I'm looking to see what we can put into the cart so that he doesn't really have to mess with these batteries anymore. It's just going to be one less thing that he has to worry about. I'm probably not going to do that until the springtime, but you know, we'll see what happens with that. And when I do that, I'll probably make a video. And you know, there's lots of lithium conversions out there, but hey, it's something new, something different, so we'll include that and bring you guys along with that as well. But yeah, not something that I would probably do on a long-term basis because it's not even outdoor rated. But in a pinch, a 48 volt server rack battery does work for this cart. So that was fun. I mean, I had a feeling that the battery was going to work. I know that they're not designed for the surges that you could get from a golf cart, especially depending on terrain and how fast you're trying to go. But yeah, an unconventional test. You know, we were able to not only test out the battery, but we were also able to help out my pastor and get that golf cart out of his garage so that he can get ready for winter. So with that, I'm gonna let y'all go. It's been a long day today. I'm looking forward to putting my feet up. Y'all stay safe, stay cool, and we'll catch up with you later.